first, Ashlyn's here with a preview of Fox 10 Midday. Hey, Ashlyn.
Hey, good morning to you, Joe. There's a lot we're following in the 11 o'clock hour today. First, President Trump has ordered an investigation into what he's calling President Biden's cognitive decline, the former president for that matter. We'll have the latest coming up. And then Vanessa is doing something I think many of us are jealous of today. She gets to spend time with dolphins. You won't want to miss today's edition of Very Vanessa. Now, Jen will also have your muggy Thursday forecast and what the rest of your weekend holds. We'll have your latest local and national headlines, so be sure to stick around for Fox 10 Midday after Studio 10. Chelsea?
Keeping a close eye on your forecast, and things are mostly calm and quiet out there for right now. However, we are beginning to warm up and it's feeling muggy. I will be breaking down all of your forecast details coming up.
And a 2-year-old boy remains in the hospital this morning after being shot. We'll have the very latest on the investigation straight ahead.
Fox 10 Midday starts now.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us here on Fox 10 Midday. It's Thursday, Friday Eve. I'm Ashlyn Mitchell.
And I'm Jennifer Lambert.
Jen, we have a lot to talk about on the show today, but first things first, sticky start to the morning. Feeling pretty gross out there.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And unfortunately, it's only going to get worse. Over the next few days, the humidity will go up.
Thank you
for that. The temperatures will go up. I know. But then the little shining light next week is that we start to see some of those going down. However, the trade-off is going to be those rain chances going up. So we are well in our summertime pattern here on the Gulf Coast. We are 5 days into the month of June, and it is now catching up to us of the heat, the humidity, and rain chances every single day. So let's go ahead, dive in right now. And things pretty active closer towards the Carolinas. You can really start to see those heavy rain showers that are pushing off into the Atlantic. That was that little feature that the National Hurricane Center was keeping a close eye on. But for us here locally, it's very spotty out there. So far, we're just starting to see some of that very light rain. Some of those were closer towards southern Mobile County earlier, southern Baldwin County. Still just starting to see some of those. In case you're going to be traveling closer towards Lillian, Wolf Bay, Alberta, that's where we're really just starting to see some of those isolated showers. Some of them just wrapping around Foley and Bon Secours, so you might see some of those in the distance. Or if you're driving, the majority of the rain was taking place closer towards Okaloosa County, just on the south side there of Crestview, right along I-10. More of that closer towards Pensacola. Main takeaway, just be careful in case you're driving out there. If you do find yourselves in any of those heavy showers, just make sure your headlights are on. That way you're visible to other drivers. A live view outside from our Navigator Credit Union camera at the Battleship. It's not raining closer towards downtown Mobile, but it looks like it could at any point. That's going to be reflective of that high humidity that we're seeing out there. Temperatures in the lower 80s, but it's feeling more like 89. It's toasty, and that's going to be the trend all across our area. Temperatures just ranging in the 80s out there, but taking that humidity into account, it's feeling warmer out there. Many spots already feeling like the lower 90s. Not too sold on that Milton temperature. Again, likes to be a little dramatic over there, but it's still feeling hot regardless of where you are. And I mentioned that it's only going to get worse. Here's what it's looking like over the next few days. Heading into tomorrow, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, that's when it's looking more likely that we could possibly see some of those triple digits, and feels like temperatures well over 100 degrees. Coming up in just a little bit, I'm going to talk more about your forecast, what I'm tracking over the next few days, and looking ahead towards some of those weekend plans. All of that's coming up in just a little bit. Ashlyn.
Jen, thank you. Well, we begin with some global news this morning. A minor earthquake in southern Italy damaged part of a wall and a vault at the Pompeii archaeological site. The 3.2 magnitude quake Thursday was the latest in a series of tremors happening near Naples. Those areas affected by today's tremor were actually damaged back in 1980 during a major earthquake. Thankfully, there were no frescoes or movable relics in the damaged structure, and no one was hurt. The director at the site says staff is checking the area to make sure nothing else was affected. I actually visited this area last year, so I'm glad the damage wasn't major. Now, Pompeii was originally destroyed by the eruption of Mount Vesuvius in 79 AD. In the meantime, former President Joe Biden is making it clear he made the decisions while in office as President Donald Trump and his allies ramp up their investigations into the use of the auto pen and whether Biden's staff did things without his consent. Fox's Rebecca Castor is breaking it down from Washington.
I think the auto pen is going to become one of the great scandals of all time.
President Trump is now ordering his White House counsel to investigate whether President Biden's staff was using an auto pen without his knowledge to sign important documents. It's a machine that can replicate a person's signature, and it's legal for presidents to use. But Republicans want to know if Biden knew what was being signed, as questions over his health during his final days in office grow.
We've identified the 4 staffers that we believe were the ones who actually took the documents and placed them in the auto pen, pressed power, and had Joe Biden's signature magically appear on these. We want to know who gave them the authority to do that.
House Oversight Committee Chair James Comer has requested interviews with those staffers, as well as high-ranking Biden officials. Much of the scrutiny is on a number of last-minute pardons that appear to be signed by AutoPen, except for his son Hunter's, which appears to be signed by hand.
The idea of focusing on President Biden is a way of distracting from Donald Trump's efforts to completely undermine our democracy.
Former President Biden also calls it a distraction, saying in a statement, "Let me be clear, I made the decisions during my presidency. I made the decisions about the pardons, executive orders, legislation, and proclamations. Any suggestion that I didn't is ridiculous and false."
These are the political stunts that Americans are fed up with.
President Trump was asked in March if he's ever used an auto pen as president. He said he had, but only for a few very unimportant papers. In Washington, Rebecca Castor, Fox News.
Also this morning, oil spill cleanup is underway in Baltimore's East Harbor. The Coast Guard is leading the effort to clean up about 2,000 gallons of oil. This after a spill from a Johns Hopkins University hospital occurred on Wednesday. We're told 10 different city and state agencies worked through the night using oil-absorbing materials and skimmers that feed into a 4,000-gallon pump truck. Officials say the spill is contained to an area in the city's inner harbor and that the city's drinking water has not been impacted.
And we're doing everything that we can to mitigate any environmental impacts of the spill. We are proud of the progress that was made overnight and over the recent years to improve the harbor. We have that at the front of our minds as everyone does this work today. And we're just as committed today as we've ever been.
Officials are asking locals to avoid the area to ensure emergency personnel can clean up this spill. Several waterfowl were found covered in oil and taken to a rehabilitation clinic. And listen to this, multiple buses going up in flames at a bus depot in Philadelphia. The fire broke out shortly after 6 this morning at a maintenance facility in the Nicetown section of the city. You can see that black smoke billowing into the air as crews try to contain the flames. SEPTA officials say they believe the buses were previously out of service, but there's no word yet on how the fire started or how many buses are burning. Firefighters remain on scene now, and a cause will be investigated once the fire is under control. And new this morning, police in Chelan County, Washington have released video of Travis Decker. He's wanted for murdering his 9, 8, and 5-year-old daughters during a planned visit with them. This video on your screen now is from a doorbell camera taken just before that visit. Decker's unoccupied truck was found Monday near a campground close to the girls' bodies. We're told he has military training and is considered armed and dangerous. Well, locally now, 2 Mobile County men accused in the fatal shooting of a man in the Trinity Gardens community back in 2021 accepted plea deals yesterday just before the start of their trial. The jury had been selected at the time, but just before testimony began, Michael Lambert and William Anderson IV, who police say is known by the street name Wilmo, pleaded guilty to manslaughter. As part of the plea bargain, the judge sentenced both men to 15 years in prison. In addition, the judge dismissed an attempting to elude charge against Anderson in another case. You might remember the shooting in May of 2021 that claimed the life of Jamarquez Tucker. Well, this morning, a 2-year-old boy remains in the hospital. The Mobile County Sheriff's Office says he was shot in the face while in bed with his parents at the St. Stephen's Wood Apartments. This is an update to a story we first broke on Fox 10 yesterday morning. Mobile County Sheriff Paul Birch says they believe the shooting is gang-related and in retaliation to a shooting that happened on Vestavia Street back on June 1st. So far, though, no arrests have been made, but Sheriff Birch believes the target was a teenager who lives at the apartment. He also says this shooting highlights the problems surrounding juvenile records. Birch says since they don't have access to those records, they can't identify those who have been charged in juvenile court.
That needs to change, because that way we can identify and either try to correct that behavior and see if any of them can be saved. If not, we need to work on putting them in prison as they become an adult.
And Sheriff Birch is urging the community to get involved too. If you have any information about any of these shootings, please contact the sheriff's office right away. As always, you can remain anonymous. In the meantime, Marcus Sanders, the man charged in the deadly shooting at the Saenger Theater, pleading not guilty to capital murder and first-degree assault charges. Mobile County District Attorney Keith Blackwood says Sanders must be held accountable for Sunday's shooting. DA Blackwood adds the newly filed capital murder charge applies because the shooting took place in front of Carl Williams' 5-year-old daughter. And he says the fact that it happened during a kid's dance recital makes it even worse. Sanders' defense attorney, Chase Dearman, says his client was acting in self-defense, though. Right now, Sanders is being held in Metro Jail without bond, and he has a preliminary hearing set for June 18th. Well, the deadly shooting at the Saenger Theater is now sparking a bigger debate over gun laws in Alabama as a whole. Mobile City Council President CJ Small is calling out state leaders. And at the center of the debate is Alabama's decision to eliminate the requirement for a concealed carry permit. In 2022, the legislature did away with the requirement to obtain a permit in order to carry a concealed gun. Councilman Small says that's led to more people carrying guns and more potential for violence. However, State Representative Matt Stimson of Daphne says the sole blame for the shooting lies with the man who pulled the trigger.
At the end of the day, it's the state of Alabama. I mean, they took away the gun permits. It's nobody's fault but the state. The state has failed the citizens of Alabama. It has failed the citizens of Mobile.
If they're willing to shoot somebody to kill them, they're not worried about whether they have a permit or not. I think, Councilman Small's comments are, he probably needs to go back and check the Constitution and look in the Second Amendment.
Now, as we've reported, there were no metal detectors in use at the Saenger on Sunday because the company that manages the facility didn't think they were needed for a children's dance recital. But since the shooting, the mayor has ordered metal detectors be used at all public and private events at city-owned entertainment venues. Well, a heads up now for folks traveling through Baldwin County. A dangerous intersection in Foley will soon get an overhaul. A four-way stop is coming to County Road 65 at Airport Road, and city leaders say it's the site of multiple accidents, including a recent one that killed 2 teens on a scooter. The portion of the road in question sits on Foley's north side in the Mills community, and it was previously under county ownership. Commissioners recently transferred ownership and maintenance duties to the city. In addition to the four-way stop, the Foley City Council also approved rumble strips, a lower speed limit, and streetlights. Well, after this, USA Health receives grant money for youth programs. We'll have that story for you. Plus,
for the next 2 days, Fox 10 News is teaming up with the Franklin Primary Health Center to help men get screened for free. We'll have more information on that coming up.
And also taking another look at your forecast and checking in on those sunset and sunrise times heading into the rest of today. Sunset this evening in Mobile, 7:53, 7:49 in Pensacola, and then sunrise heading into tomorrow, 5:49 to begin in Mobile, 5:46 to start off the morning on the Florida side. But I'll be talking more about your forecast and what I'm tracking towards the weekend. That's coming up when we come.
Welcome back into Fox 10 Midday this morning. Help is on the way for at-risk youth in Mobile County. It's a new $1 million grant that's part of Governor Kay Ivey's effort to support state crisis intervention programs. That includes the USA Health Center for Healthy Communities. It's a hospital-based injury prevention program aimed at curbing violent crime among at-risk youth. We're told the money will be used to launch new initiatives like mentorship programs, street outreach teams, as well as partnerships with the Strickland Youth Center.
We want to make sure that we're all speaking the same language, that we have a good understanding of what trauma is and how it can be chronic and it can be repetitive. And the experiences that we go through really influence how we deal with certain issues.
USA Health is one of 11 projects across Alabama that receives funding through the State Crisis Intervention Program. Well, we've been talking about this a lot on the show recently. Just a reminder, June is National Men's Health Awareness Month. Fox 10 is once again partnering with Franklin Primary Health Center to offer some of those free health screenings. Fox 10 News reporter Stephen Moody was at Franklin this morning, and he has more on why this is so important.
And not only is it extremely important, it's also very timely. That's why once again Fox 10 News is teaming up with the Franklin Primary Health Center to provide these free screenings. Men lined up early Thursday morning to get screened. Thanks to Franklin Primary Health Center, 100 men were able to undergo different exams, all for free.
The medical they give here and everything is great. To get, free medical and stuff like that, it's a godsend.
The screenings included blood pressure checks, glucose checks, dental exams, and prostate exams.
It appears that men are understanding and realize that the health care for men, like I said again, is such an important issue. 1 in 8 men were actually going to come down with prostate cancer. 1 in 8. So again, but the point is that, hey, if you come on, we catch it early, you can be treated.
We have a tendency to be hard-headed and we don't listen to our body. You get all of these signs, but you still have to go somewhere and let somebody tell you what these signs really, really mean to you. You get all these warnings. If your head hurting, that means something else you need to check on. I mean, if you wonder why my feet are numb in the morning, I'm laying in the bed and my back hurting, all of these are warning signs that your body is telling you to go see a doctor, come get treated. And I wish that everybody would just listen to that, your body.
And if you missed today, Fox 10 will be the host site Friday as 100 more men will be able to be screened for free.
Make that trip. They do well here and stuff like that. I go to the one on Cody, but of course they charge there. But I've seen the free, and I was like, all right, I got to step in there and try that.
And we have more information over on our website at fox10tv.com. Reporting here in Mobile, Stephen Moody, Fox 10 News.
Well, taking another look at your forecast and a live view outside down in Pensacola Beach. And although we are starting to see some more of that rough surf, the good news is that we still have some beautiful, vibrant water conditions. A few folks getting out there and enjoying it, but I am beginning to notice more of those red flags flying across the Gulf Coast. So please just make sure that you are being cautious and apply that sunscreen over and over again. Now, taking a look at the conditions out there, Gulf shores right now resting in the mid 80s, feels like temperatures 92, but look at Pensacola experiencing some of those rain showers closer towards the airport. So it's helping to cool things down. Temperatures right around 80 degrees, feeling like 84, but it's going to be hot and steamy once those showers do begin to move away. Now, winds over the next few hours down and closer towards our coastal areas, continuing just out of the southwest. Calm today, right around 5 to 10 miles per hour. That will be the good news. However, we're still starting to see some of those impacts closer towards our local beaches with the rip current risk. It's high today and tomorrow. Please be careful in case you're going to be heading to the beach over the next few days. We'll start to notice some of those minor improvements by the weekend. It drops down to moderate by Saturday and Sunday, looking a lot better heading into the early part of next week, but it's still rough out there. As mentioned, I checked in on the beach flags for some of our beaches out there. Mainly notice those single red flags, just showing that we're starting to see some of that high surf, the dangerous rip current risk. However, I did see those double red flags closer towards Navarre, meaning that the Gulf waters are closed. It's illegal to swim because you not only pose a risk to yourself, but also the lifeguards out there. So in case you are heading to the beach, know the name of the specific beach you're located on, where that closest lifeguard stand is, and know what to do if you get caught in a rip current. If you meet any tourists, remind them too. Forecast high temperatures later on for today, mainly going to be seeing some of those mid to upper 80s, possibly a few isolated lower 90s, but taking the humidity into account, feeling a lot warmer. We're going to be feeling more like the lower to mid 90s. Really, I think this is leaning off even just a little bit. I feel like we're going to be feeling more like the mid to upper 90s out there. It's going to be hot. It's going to be toasty and feeling pretty muggy. Higher numbers only on the way over the next few days. Timing things out in our futurecast. Starting off for this morning, there's some of those isolated showers just closer towards the Florida Panhandle, moving through Escambia, Okaloosa, Santa Rosa counties. Not quite impacting our inland spots so much. as of yet, but we'll only start to notice more of that rain coverage beginning to fire off heading into the second half of today. It's going to be random where these start to develop. Higher chances right along I-65 and I-10, so less chances for Washington, Clark, Monroe, Conecuh counties. Some could contain heavy downpours, some frequent lightning, and some gusty winds. So just make sure you're being careful. Mainly just drive carefully in case you find yourselves in any of those. But we will start to notice more of those chances begin to fizzle out later on this evening once we lose some of that daytime heating. Practices later on for tonight. It's still feeling muggy out there. Some isolated showers and storms will be possible. Highest chances Baldwin County and the Florida Panhandle. That's not going to be feeling the best with that high humidity. Stay hydrated if you're going to be spending any time outside. And we are in the full swing of our summertime pattern here on the Gulf Coast. Temperatures in the lower to mid 90s by Saturday. Rain chances go up next week and those temperatures go down just a little bit. I'll talk more about your forecast coming up in just a little bit. More Fox 10 Midday is on the way. We'll be back after this.
Welcome back into Fox 10 Midday at the half hour. Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth met with NATO allies today and said the U.S. is reviewing its force posture, raising fears our country could be planning to pull military support from Ukraine. Here's Fox News correspondent Alex Hogan.
Another deadly night of Russian airstrikes on Ukraine, at least 5 civilians killed, including a 1-year-old child. It comes as NATO defense ministers are meeting to discuss beefing up security and aid to Ukraine. But U.S. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth, who skipped an earlier meeting on supporting Ukraine, once again teased a possible pivot away from Europe, saying that he's reviewing America's overall force posture.
America can't be everywhere all the time, nor should we be. And so there are reasons why we have troops in certain places, and we respect and understand that.
The Ukrainians say they're still confident they have America's support, and now they're pushing for new U.S. sanctions that could make it more difficult for Russian President Vladimir Putin to resupply his army.
We are very much looking for the new sanctions, and it's necessary to create right atmosphere. Then Russia go to negotiation.
Meanwhile, we're learning more about that surprise Ukrainian attack on Russia's long-range bombers. In this newly released video, you can see the drones circling, hovering over their targets, and even landing on the bombers. The Ukrainians also hit a bridge in Crimea and a series of railways in eastern Russia. And now Putin is threatening to stay away from the ceasefire talks until the sabotage attacks stop.
They are asking for a meeting at the highest level, but how can any such meetings be conducted under such circumstances?
After their phone call, President Trump said that Russian President Vladimir Putin told him that he is planning to retaliate after these recent attacks. In London, Alex Hogan, Fox News.
Well, the travel bans are back. President Trump has announced new restrictions on 19 countries that echo policies from his first term. In a video posted last night to Truth Social, the president announced a travel ban on 12 countries and restrictions on 7 others. Now, the president says it was the attack over the weekend in Boulder, Colorado that was a driving force in his new policy.
We've seen one terror attack after another carried out by foreign visa overstayers from dangerous places all over the world. We will not allow people to enter our country who wish to do us harm, and nothing will stop us from keeping America safe.
The president says the banned countries lack adequate screening programs and that many of their citizens overstay their visas. He says the list of countries could change if improvements are made. This new policy is set to kick in on Monday. Straight ahead on Fox 10 Midday, Procter & Gamble announcing some pretty big cuts. Plus, Vanessa Pacheco is hanging out with some more animals today. Find out what she's up to in this morning's Very Vanessa. Thanks for watching Fox 10 Midday. Jen and I will be right back after this. Want to get up close with some really cool animals? Well, the Mississippi Aquarium has just the thing. I'm jealous of Vanessa this morning. She is diving into the fun, spending time with some of the aquarium's most playful residents, dolphins.
Oh, I am having too much fun here. I am here at Mississippi Aquarium. I am here with John Madigan. He is the curator of marine mammals. Now, John, who do we have here?
So let me introduce you to Axel. Axel is one of our rock stars. He's a 15-year-old Atlantic bottlenose dolphin. And he is truly one of the rock stars of our facility here, right? Yes, he is. So he is one of our animals that is truly an ambassador to the species, where every day he participates in these interactive programs where we give guests the opportunity to get these hands-on learning experience like you're getting right now. So as you reach on out and pet him, these types of experiences really do help the public get these hands-on learning experience and actually give a desire to care for these animals out in the wild. So that's why we do consider him to be an ambassador of his species, to help make those connection and lifelong memories with the public, to give them a desire to really take care of these animals out in the wild.
Oh, this is so neat. This is obviously a great experience. We are actually here in the VIP section, so we get to have these hands-on experiences, right?
Yep, that's what it's all about, is making sure people get these experience and as well the knowledge to help these species. All right, so it's one of our 3 pillars here at our facility is conservation, community, and education. So Axel actually helps out with that every day, right, big man? Yes, he does. So he loves to teach. He loves to help make that connection with the public. And more than anything, he loves having fun. And every now and then you'll see him doing that and kind of getting people a little wet every now and then. And all of these are great ways for people to get those connections with our animals here. Right, big man? Yes, yes it is.
Oh my gosh, this has been such a great experience. Now, for anyone that wants to learn more about Mississippi Aquarium and all the animal encounters that y'all have here, where can they go?
You can check us out online. Check out our website at MississippiAquarium.org. We run programs every day where you can come and get hands-on experience not only with our dolphins but as well with our penguins, and all the proceeds go to help with our conservation efforts in this local area. So come out, support us, help get some wonderful lifelong memories with these amazing animals, and learn about our local community as well.
Well, this has been a great experience. I feel like I've been saying that, but wow, look at this.
Yeah, he's such
Thank you so much, John and Axel, of course, for all that information. We're going to have it on our website, fox10tv.com. Make sure you click on the Very Vanessa tab. Look at him.
Adorable. Axel was a shining star, and you know what? I might need to make my way there. My daughter, Layson, that's all she has been asking for lately, is to go see and go and swim with the dolphins. I might have to check that out. Let's go ahead and talk more about your forecast and a live view outside down in Fairhope, and things look nice. It's gray, it's cloudy, it's humid, but you know, it still looks pretty out there, and they're getting some of that construction done. But as you do take a look at conditions just across the southeast, it's unsettled everywhere. Really, Mississippi, the shining star, they're not quite seeing some of those showers. Starting to see some of those beginning to fire off just closer towards the coastal areas, but a lot of sunshine out there. And looking in just a little bit closer, it's unsettled. In case you're heading out the door anytime soon, you might encounter just some of these passing showers. Mainly starting to see some of those beginning to pop up for portions of Mobile, Baldwin counties up towards Stapleton into Summerdale, down towards Lillian, Perdido Key. Also beginning to notice some of those there towards Hollinger's Island. That's where we're starting to see more of those just closer towards I-10 on the Mobile side in case you're heading out anytime soon. Florida Panhandle, Santa Rosa, Okaloosa counties, also just closer towards Bruton, Bradley, beginning to notice some of that a lot closer towards Flomaton, Century, and Jay. So unsettled, very spotty for some of that rain showers. You might only notice it in case you're out there driving. Pretty similar look to what we're seeing on our Futurecast right now. It's actually performing pretty well. The placement a little off for some areas, but only expecting more of those to begin firing off heading into the early part of this afternoon. More of those isolated to even scattered showers, maybe some thunderstorms will be possible heading into the rest of today. Higher placement closer towards I-10 and on the south side there of I-65. And as we make our way later on into this evening, once that sun sets, rain chances go down, but still the potential for some isolated showers or storms. This is our summertime pattern here on the Gulf Coast. Random every single day, mainly firing off heading into the afternoon and the evening. So the main takeaway with the rain chances now through the end of next week, just make sure you have that rain gear ready to go. The rain jacket, the umbrellas, you might encounter one of those at any point. Temperatures today, it's hot and it is muggy. We'll be maxing out mid to upper 80s, feeling more like the mid to upper 90s out there. And these temperatures, they're right around average for where we should be this time of year. If anything, we're a degree below heading into today, but the main trade-off is going to be some of those rain chances. Morning temperature straying away just a little bit, but the good news, nowhere near a record. That previous one, 99 degrees, set back in 95. Now, even heading into tomorrow, It's going to be hotter. Look at these heat index values for your Friday. Triple digits for many spots across the Gulf Coast. The reason for this, daytime highs will be higher tomorrow along with that humidity. So it's still changing every day and unfortunately not for the better. So in case you do have Friday afternoon, evening plans, stay hydrated, take breaks, find some shade. In case you're planning on heading on down towards the beach, unfortunately it is high rip currents today and tomorrow. Please be cautious. Know the name of the beach you're located on, where the closest lifeguard stand is, and know what to do if you get caught in that rip current. Checking in on the tropics, things are quiet. No new development expected over the next 7 days in the Atlantic, the Gulf, and the Caribbean. But again, we're only 5 days in officially to the start of hurricane season. Still a long ways to go until November 30th. We'll continue to monitor and keep you updated. Here's a look at that summertime pattern that I mentioned with rain chances every single day. Higher potential comes into play to start off for next week. I'll talk more about your forecast coming up in just a little bit. Ashlyn.
Jen, thank you. The time 11:37 now, and President Trump meets with Germany's chancellor to talk trade. Procter & Gamble announced cuts. Fox's CJ Papa has those stories and more in today's Fox Business Briefs.
Investors are staying mindful of swings stemming from negotiations between the U.S. and its trading partners. President Trump meeting with Germany's chancellor Thursday. With the largest economy in the EU, Germany is motivated to de-escalate trade tensions. Procter & Gamble says it will cut about 6% of its total workforce over the next 2 years. The company behind brands like Charmin, Old Spice, and Pampers says this restructuring plan will counter uneven consumer demand and high costs due to tariff uncertainty. Executives say they're planning to exit some product categories going forward. CJ Papa, Fox News.
And listen to this. Just a few months after filing for bankruptcy protection, Hooters has abruptly closed dozens of locations. In a statement, a company spokesperson says it closed certain company-owned locations to position the restaurant chain for the future. A specific list of those locations, though, is not released, but local reports indicate about 30 locations were shuttered in 7 states, including Florida, Texas, Michigan, and the Carolinas. The 42-year-old chain filed for bankruptcy back in March. In the meantime, one rideshare company introduces new features for seniors nationwide. Yeah, Uber is rolling out senior accounts to its family profiles feature. It's designed to be a simplified version of the app with larger text, fewer buttons, and easy to navigate screens. Since the new feature resides under Uber's family profiles, loved ones are able to help set up an account and even offer support for seniors if needed, which is really neat. Those not a part of a family profile still have the option to turn on simple mode, which will offer the same easy-to-use interface as senior accounts. This comes a month after the company did a test run for the feature in Phoenix, Arizona, and Orlando, Florida. Up next on Fox 10 Midday, the Queen of Clean shows us a different way to help clean up those toys all around the house. Plus, all right, welcome back. Jen, the Nintendo Switch 2 is now available.
This is all the rage, and folks across the globe lined up outside their game stores to get their hands on the new console. Take a look at this.
Yeah, this is video from Fox 10's own Lanice Lagon shot outside of the Best Buy at the McGowan Park Shopping Center in Mobile last night.
And as you can see, plenty of people waiting in line. Most of the Best Buys in the U.S. open their stores around midnight for pre-order pickups and walk-in purchases.
Participating stores also rewarded fans for staying up late for the console with a commemorative coin. Now, Nintendo expects to sell 15 million Switch 2 consoles by the end of the financial year.
Switch 2 features a bigger built-in screen with a high-definition display and larger buttons.
And a new feature is Game Chat, where you can talk and screen share with friends and family while playing any game. The Switch 2, we're told, will cost $450. Do you have the Nintendo Switch 1?
I do.
Do you do plenty games on it?
I do. I have one and my daughter has one.
That's so
And so
fun.
we'll play together. We like Animal Crossing.
I love Animal Crossing. Oh, that's such a therapeutic game too. Regardless of your age, my husband and I are huge Mario Kart fans.
Oh.
We will literally, both of us, play each other Mario Kart tournaments.
See, I love it.
We're way too competitive for our own
It's fun. I don't know if I'm too sold on the Switch 2 just yet because I don't think I use it enough. I appreciate the Switch 1, but I'm here for the midnight releases. chances. Thank you, Best Buy.
Absolutely.
Nostalgic right there.
Well, whether you have small kids or dogs running around, there is one thing your home is probably full of, that's small toys.
I can attest to this one. So today, the Queen of Clean shows us an easy solution to clean them up.
You know, when my grandkids come over to play, I don't mind helping them pick up the big toys, but I hate picking up all the little stuff, you know, the Legos, the small toys. Have I got a tip for you? A dustpan and a little broom that you keep just for sweeping up the toys. All you're going to do is put it down, sweep the toys into it, dump them in the toy box. It's the easiest, fastest way to pick everything up. And you know what? Even the kids like to do it too. And you know what? That's what I call a queen sweep. For more information, go to queenofclean.com. Thanks for talking dirty with the Queen of Clean.
All right, whatever floats your boat. Well, Jen, I know that you have a little girl. I don't have any kids yet, so I don't have a lot of the little toys laying around. But what do you do?
I have to hand do it because we have hardwoods like that for some parts of our house, but we have dog fur everywhere. And so you can't quite do it. And so, yeah, so it's picking up a toy, getting the dog fur off of it, then putting it back. So
maybe the broom wouldn't work for you.
Yeah, broom not so much. It's mainly picking through the toys and then vacuuming. That is my solution to all of that.
You're a great mom.
Thank you. Thank you. I know. It's just whatever works for you. Well, let's go ahead and talk more about your forecast and what we're tracking out there. And just a reminder, it's a great time. Go ahead, download the Fox 10 weather app. That way you're staying updated with the forecast, especially today and the days ahead of us. It's going to be hot. It's going to be muggy, but also the radar feature, that is going to become really handy with all the rain chances that we're tracking out there. Let's go ahead and dive deeper into what we are picking up on radar at this time. And really, it's just super spotty, isolated showers. Seeing more of those closer towards Mobile, Baldwin counties, Summerdale, Seminole, Lillian, all starting to just get in on some of that rain action. Closer towards Mobile County, also beginning to see some of that coverage beginning to ramp up. Looking at closer here at the Fox 10 News Studios, might be raining out there. We're located in McGowan Park, right closer towards I-65 and I-10. Also starting to see some of those rain showers just closer towards Pritchard and up into Saraland. Additional showers near Hurricane and near Bay Minette and Pineville. And then also a lot of that impacting portions of the Florida Panhandle. So Crestview, Defuniak Springs, Floridale, Bradley, Bruton, Flomaton, Century, Jay, down towards Cantonment. Just began to notice more of that rain coverage. This is only going to continue heading into the rest of today, but I mentioned it. It's summertime here on the Gulf Coast. We are used to this heat, humidity, afternoon showers and storms. It is no surprise that this is something that we're going to be seeing. And so it's going to be more of that random development. It's not that organized line that's moving through that we can place the timing and the coverage. This is truly going to be random where this starts to develop heading into the rest of today. Takeaway, keep the rain gear handy, and you're only going to need it over the next few days as these rain chances are here and here to stay as we make our way into next week. I'll have a final look at your forecast coming up in just a little bit. Right now, a live view outside down on Dauphin Island. We'll be right back with more after this.
This is a pretty crazy story. A burglary suspect is caught doing some fancy footwork, dancing for a long period of time outside of school, which police say he then robbed, and the whole thing was caught on camera. Jeremy Roth has today's Take a Look at This.
A boogieing burglary suspect was caught on camera busting a move before police say he busted into a school and stole some valuable property. Surveillance video just released from Victoria Police in Australia shows a man pull up outside a school in Sunbury and begin dancing in the parking lot. The suspect's smooth moves go on for quite some time before police say he then broke into the school and made off with 3 laptops and a projector worth more than $5,000. Officials are now asking for the public's help in identifying the individual. The saying goes, dance like nobody's watching, but you might want to first make sure that includes surveillance cameras. Speaking of smooth moves, check out a runner who was saved by some fancy footwork after a last-second trip-up nearly cost her a state title. Just feet from the finish line, Oregon runner Brooklyn Anderson tripped over the final hurdle, but pulled off an amazingly deft double somersault to save her 100-meter win. What's even more amazing is she managed to stay in her lane, staying within the rules. Anderson later told race officials she saved her win by resorting back to her gymnastics career. Finally, some not-so-smooth moves by a deer led to a humorous encounter in an Iowa hair salon. The deer had crashed through a glass window, becoming trapped in the salon, and as a responding officer arrived, the panicked animal ran to another window and tried unsuccessfully to jump through again. Eventually, officers would help relocate the deer, but only after the one on scene told it to cool its jumping jets.
Just stop, bro.
For Take a Look at This.
Chill for a second.
I'm Jeremy Roth.
That's funny. Well, here's 3 to know before you go today. The quintessential It bag is about to go on the auction block. Sotheby's announcing the original Hermes Birkin bag will be available to deep-pocketed bidders in Paris July 10th. The all-black saddle-stitch bag behind me was designed some 40 years ago by Hermes CEO Jean-Louis Dumas after a chance encounter on an airplane with actress Jane Birkin. The bag is one of the most desirable celebrity status symbols in the world, selling for tens of thousands of dollars or more. Sotheby's, though, would not speculate on how much they expect this bag to sell for, but said it could, quote, redefine records. It's a beautiful bag. I probably will not be owning it. Well, after months of travel, a private spacecraft is attempting to land on the moon today. It's a huge moment in space exploration. If all goes according to plan, Japan-based iSpace will become the first commercial company outside the U.S. to successfully land on the moon. The company's unmanned lunar lander Resilience has been taking the long way to the moon, leaving Earth nearly 5 months ago. iSpace says the long route gave them time to test and review onboard navigation and software systems. The company has a number of experiments it plans to conduct once it reaches the moon, and those include testing algae for food production and a water electrolyzer experiment. Pretty cool. Well, today is the best day of the year. It is National Ketchup Day. If you know me, I love ketchup. I put it on everything. And ketchup's origins actually date back to 300 BC in China. In 1812, American scientists named James Mees documented the first tomato-based ketchup recipe. Thank you, James. His documentation marked the first official ketchup recipe that contained tomatoes, sugar, spices, and vinegar. The same base recipe we know and love today. Nearly 97% of Americans have ketchup in their homes. In fact, ketchup is so popular, astronauts use ketchup as a condiment in space. The best day ever, like I said. I guess I'm wearing red in honor of Ketchup Day. I didn't even know, so I'm a true fan. There's kind of a joke at Fox 10, but I actually love black-eyed peas and cornbread with ketchup. That's my favorite meal. Have you had it?
No.
Most people haven't, but I'll make it for you. Everybody says it sounds gross.
You'll have to, I think I've had black-eyed peas maybe like once. So
it's delicious.
I would try. Here's my question for you. Do you put ketchup in the fridge or in the cabinet?
The fridge, for sure. What about you?
I do it in the fridge, but my husband does it in the cabinet.
Can't it expire?
No.
Wait, what?
Yeah, it doesn't have to be. Yeah.
Another reason
Think
to
of
love
like
it, y'all.
restaurants that they keep on the table. Yeah, there's a great
so
commercial
funny.
out right now how they keep separate ones. That's how we are in our household. One for each of us.
Incredible, incredible.
Well, let's go ahead and take a final look at your forecast. And heading into the rest of today, temperatures maxing out mid to upper 80s, some lower 90s out there. However, it's going to be feeling hotter once you take that humidity into account, feeling more like the mid to upper 90s. Rain chances possible at any point today, mainly this afternoon and this evening, random where they start to develop. Be cautious if you're driving in any of them, as they could contain heavy downpours over the next few days. It's summertime here on the Gulf Coast, so the heat, the humidity, the rain chances every single day, they do start to tick up. Higher chances heading into really Sunday and the early part of next week. That's why those temperatures go down just a little bit, but it is going to be hot on Saturday. If you're planning anything outdoors, just make sure you stay hydrated, have some ways to cool down. I mentioned it yesterday. Beach, pool, river, lakes, sprinklers. Everything. It all sounds fantastic for Saturday.
It does. And enjoy some ketchup on a hot dog or hamburger, especially today. Thanks for watching Fox 10 Midday. We'll see you at 3 o'clock.